Thank you for volunteering to survey event visitors and to help determine the economic impact of events at your local expo center or event center. Surveying people attending events is a lot of fun, but it's also a responsibility. We have to be respectful of the rights and privacy of the people we're surveying. My name is Rebecca Dudensing. I'm an assistant professor and extension economist with the Texas AgriLife Extension Service. I work with event coordinators and venue coordinators to help them quantify the economic impact of events and visitors on the local community. To make sure that we're completely grasping the key points of this video, let's start with the end in mind. The reason we're conducting this survey is to determine the economic impact of the venue and events associated with it. When people attend an event at an expo center, coliseum, or other event center, they often spend money in the local economy. When visitors, that is, people from outside the community or county, spend money, they're actually introducing new money into the economy. That money is multiplied as businesses purchase inputs from other local businesses, and as employees spend their wages on goods and services produced locally. Many venues are, at least in part, publicly funded. For example, some venues receive tax dollars. This study will also help those venues to determine the return on taxpayer investment. The reason that we're going over instructions for surveying is that respect is key. Questionnaires and surveyors need to respect the rights and privacy of human subjects. Human subjects are potential survey respondents and people who are responding to the survey. AgriLife Extension works with the Institutional Review Board at Texas A&M University to assure compliance with human subjects research guidelines and principles. If you're curious about those guidelines or have other questions about human subjects research or this study, consult the website on your screen or contact IRB at irb@tamu.edu or 979-458-4067. Okay, how do you get started with surveying? Well, your venue coordinator will provide you with questionnaires, which is to say the paper copy of the survey, contact cards, basically business cards that contain information for the venue coordinator, for me as the principal investigator, and for the IRB at Texas A&M, so that people with questions about the survey or the protocol of conducting the surveys can ask questions. You'll also receive written instructions and a script. These materials are also available at the Rural Communities website you see on your screen. You may also be given writing utensils if you don't already have one. And finally, you'll be told the nth number. That number just means you will survey every nth person. For example, every third person you see, every fifth or 10th person who walks through the door. Now your responsibility is to please arrive on time, at least 15 minutes prior to your shift, and to check in with the venue coordinator or his or her representative. For example, some venue coordinators may have another employee who is serving as a coordinator that day, or if you're part of an organized group, someone from your group may be a temporary venue coordinator. Please look presentable. You don't have to wear a suit, but this isn't the time for PJs either. For most events, nice jeans and a polo or button-down shirt, or even a nice t-shirt are acceptable. Please avoid any t-shirts with crude graphics, sayings, or inappropriate language. When you arrive and check in with the coordinator, review the written instructions and make sure you know the nth number. Please have a smile and a positive attitude and maintain a professional attitude. So what are you going to say? Well, remember, you are receiving a script. Please follow the script. For example, if I were conducting a survey at the Brazos County Expo Center, I might say, "Hello, my name is Rebecca and I'm conducting an evaluation to find out about the impacts of expo events and visitors on the local economy. This study is being conducted by the Brazos County Expo Complex and the Texas AgriLife Extension Service. Your information will remain anonymous. Would you mind answering a few questions?" You'll notice that in the script, we've explained the purpose of the survey, and we've asked permission to continue with the questionnaire. Both of these are very important pieces of the script, and that's why I encourage you to please follow it. If someone says yes, say thank you. Here's information about the survey in case you have questions, and hand them a contact card. Okay, who do I survey? Well, when you go on shift, you'll survey the first person you encounter and every nth person after an interview. For example, if the nth number is 4, then you'll survey every 4th adult. You'll start with person 1, the first person that you encounter, and then, after you've completed that survey, you'll count 4 more people. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 4th person is person 5. After you've completed that survey, you'll go to the 4th next person, or person 9, the 4th after person 5. Of course, this scenario assumes that people are entering slowly and you have plenty of time to complete one survey before the next person is approaching you. In reality, surveys take time, and many people may be entering the facility at once. While you're interviewing person 1, several people might walk by. But when you finish your interview with person 1, count to 4, and you'll interview the 5th person, that you encounter. That is the 4th person after person 1, whom you've personally seen walk by. Always approach the nth person. Don't discriminate or choose who that you want to visit with based on their appearance, whether they look like big spenders, or whether they look friendly. It's important to preserve an unbiased sample and to give each person an equal opportunity of being surveyed. Now, the exception is if you're concerned for your safety. And if that's the case, tell the venue coordinator immediately. Only survey people over the age of 18. If you aren't sure, after you read the script, ask, "We're only surveying adults age 18 and over. Do you qualify?" If not, apologize and move on to the next person. Now, what if someone says no? Well, you will get refusals. That's okay, and don't take it personally. Just say, "Thank you. Here's information about the survey in case you have questions," and hand them the contact card. Note that is the exact same wording as you would use if someone had agreed to complete a survey. Tally the refusal on the questionnaire, and you'll see where that is in a minute. Or tally refusals on a separate piece of paper, as instructed by your venue coordinator. Then, approach the next nth adult. Never force someone to respond. Refusals aren't a problem, but if you have several refusals, especially if other volunteers seem to be conducting more surveys, consider asking the venue coordinator or a colleague for feedback on your survey style. In rare cases, a potential respondent may be rude. Don't reciprocate. Simply thank them and move on to the next person, or the next nth person. Let the venue coordinator know if you have a serious problem. What if someone walks up to you and says, "I want to complete a questionnaire"? Unfortunately, this will not preserve an unbiased sample. So simply say, "I'm sorry, I have instructions to survey every nth adult to maintain an unbiased sample." But if the person persists, let them fill the survey out. Okay, back to this guy. You've read the script, and if necessary, you verified that they're 18 or older. You've given them a contact card, and presumably, they've agreed to be surveyed. Now, make sure that you're out of traffic and in a location where you can be seen, both for your safety and for the safety of the respondent, and where you can hear each other, but where others cannot hear your conversation. This is done so that we can respect the respondent's privacy. Economic information can be sensitive, and we don't want to ask questions that may make them uncomfortable in front of others. Read the respondent each of the questions and record their answers. It's best that you write the answers and not hand the survey to them. and I'd like you to write it legibly. I'm not terribly good at reading messy handwriting, even though I have it, and I can assure you that the scanners that read these forms are even worse than I am. And that's also why we ask you to write. Many people may be in a hurry and just want to scribble out the survey, although they legitimately want to help. Unfortunately, their survey will not be useful if it's not neat. So please do your best to complete the survey in your handwriting and legibly. As far as completing the questionnaire, when someone agrees to complete a questionnaire without asking them, and while you're simply thanking them, you could mark whether they're male or female. And if someone else is translating for you because you don't speak the language that the respondent speaks, mark translator. If someone has refused, there is a refusal box to the left of the form above the line. You can mark there and just include the questionnaire in the stack of completed questionnaires, or if your venue coordinator prefers, you can just tally on a separate piece of paper. If someone has agreed to do a survey, but you simply cannot communicate with them due to a language barrier, just say, "I'm very sorry, I can't understand you," and mark the language barrier. Again, please thank them for their time and hand them a contact card. You'll notice the script is on the top of the questionnaire, so it's really easy to have everything you need to complete the questionnaire all on one clipboard. You'll go through each of the questions in order and mark the appropriate responses. For example, you would read question 1. How did you participate in the event during this visit? Were you a visitor, volunteer, vendor, participant, or something else? And you'd mark the appropriate question, or appropriate response. They may have more than one response. If one of the responses is other, please jot down in the box what their response is. Then ask their zip code and fill out the 5-digit zip code. If someone lives outside the U.S., you can use all zeros for the zip code. Question 5 asks, how many total days do you plan to stay in the area for this event? That means just this event, not other events throughout the year. And question 6 is the meat and potatoes of this survey. Please read the paragraph above the boxes in full to the respondent. To better understand the economic impact of this event, we're interested in finding out the approximate amount of money you and other members of your immediate group will spend the entire time you visit this event, including travel to and from your home. We understand this is a difficult question, but please do your best because your response is very important to our efforts. I have a list of types of expenditures here, and I'm going to ask you how much you would spend for each expenditure. How much did you spend, or do you expect to spend, on lodging expenses, for example, hotel, motel, camping, etc., in Brazos County? And then you would record the amount in that box. Then you would ask, how much did you spend on food and beverages, for example, restaurants and concessions, and fill in that amount. Please note that entertainment does not include entertainment that might be at this event. That falls under access fees. What if someone gets cold feet? Never force anyone to finish a survey regardless of how close they are to the end. And also, a respondent may choose to skip individual questions and complete questions that are further down in the survey. Alright, you've done the survey. Now what? Well, thank the respondent again, and if you're still working your shift, move on to the nth adult. At the end of your shift, return completed survey questionnaires and supplies to the venue coordinator. A few other tips. Report any problems to the venue coordinator or to me. My contact information is at the end of this presentation. If you have other concerns, you're also welcome to report them to the IRB at the information that was provided earlier in this presentation. Some venues conduct surveys in the parking lot. It's best to do surveys in teams of 2 or 3 volunteers in this case, especially after sundown. Please remember that your safety, that of the respondents, and other volunteers is of utmost concern. In summary, never force someone to complete a questionnaire or a question on a questionnaire. Respect respondents' privacy. Survey only adults over age 18. Offer information about the survey using the contact card. Record responses neatly and accurately. And be friendly and professional. Have fun. Again, thank you for volunteering. If you have any questions, contact your venue coordinator or me. Thanks.